Hello, my name is Xavier and I'm an artist, illustrator. I've been a war artist. I was an official war artist in Iraq. This is where it all started. Glasgow School of Art many years ago, and I got very interested in landscape, place, ancient history, ancient places, standing stones, nature, going on a sequence, a journey to find things, find places that are kind of magical. That really gets me going. Very loose, free A3 drawings like this, and I carried on travelling and keeping these books. This is one from New York a few years later. And the thing about drawing in a sketchbook is that things happen. You start thinking of ideas because of what you see, because of what you witness. Now, this is just before the World Trade Center tower disaster, 9/11. And I climbed up to the top, an amazing view of New York, just quick, fast drawings. And that one drawing, this one drawing kind of changed my life. Because after September the 11th, everything changed in the world. Everything changed. And I was working in London a little bit after that time, again filling these sketchbooks, drawing Chinatown, very interested in the night, writing all the time as well, and experimenting with text. I'm trying to find these narratives, these stories that interested me. And this led to, where is it? Where's that drawing? This one here, where we've got this growing anti-war in Iraq protest movement. That was interesting. It carried on. 1 million people marched in London against the conflict that was about to start in Iraq. And I drew that on-site people protesting because it didn't seem to make sense. We had September the 11th, and for some reason that gave reason to go to Iraq, go to war. And somebody asked me, what's the point of protesting? And I don't really protest, but I like to know why people do what they do. I was lucky to be offered the opportunity of travelling to Iraq, and I actually went 3 times with the British and American Armed Forces, and I travelled all over from Basra, Baghdad, down to Ur, helicopters, armoured personnel carriers, and I filled lots and lots of books with these stories, these A3 books. See here, these A3 books. I'll just give you an idea of kind of what I was doing. This is when I kind of started. Oops, careful with these books. Flying out on a C-17 Globemaster and trying to find positive signals, positive messages within this. I mean, we kind of see here this button meant that pressing that button means that get on your belt buckles now. Indirect fire attack button. You press that and everybody just drops to the ground because a rocket is going to land. And the fast drawings here out of a Merlin helicopter. And little compassionate stories. This is psychological operations, stroke, media operations. And yeah, lots of writing and lots of kind of observation. things that went on. Feast for Eid. Symbolism, metaphors. They're looking at other things that, people do. Exercise, it's the army. Americans coming in, very different to the British military. And just moments of rest and these convoy journeys, these trips that were infrequent, but they were the sort of highlights when you got out, because a lot of the time it's very boring. Iran, Iraq, the Iran-Iraq border, very interesting. Little fast ideas. This became a bigger painting. It's working in acrylic. It's making the books stick together. I do scan all of this work in. With moments of rest. Let's have a look. I filled loads of books from this trip. Just trying to get that emotion across. This is Saddam Hussein's palace. It's interesting seeing evidence of dictatorship, monstrous ego, and then these moments of prayer, these kind of quiet moments. People are generally kind of worried. This is interesting. This is a drawing from the Ziggurat of Earth. Here we go. What's it there? Kind of see this pyramid in the desert where lots of firsts happen. It was the first writing, the first legal system, the first arch. Here, the oldest arch in the world. Birthplace of Abraham. It's an important place. But yeah, just drawing things out, really. All of these kind of developed into larger pieces of work. These studies of people resting. Just moments. Things that meant things. Building bridges. It's a physical bridge, but it's a bridge between cultures, between people. So loads of these drawings. It's interesting to look back at these. Just realise how much I actually have done in games of chess, war games, strategy, food, Iraqi food. That became the bigger piece of work. Just trying and playing with materials. Just kind of seeing what happens. Looking at ancient history. Again, it's like going back to that work from Glasgow. Seeing the themes from a long time ago in this day and age. Just looted treasure, looted artifacts. A lot of writing. I haven't read any of this writing. I'm going to do one day, quite soon actually. I'm going to start editing it and reread what I wrote. Just write every day and then forget about it. And then I'll look back at it, because time helps you to see what's good and what's not. It's just ideas. Just ideas. It could be a little book, a little idea, in a little book. But this became another idea. You've got Saddam Hussein here, and you've got unexploded ordnance here, and a tree in the Garden of Eden. This is supposed to be the historical place where the Garden of Eden was. It's now just a desert. Yeah, just drawing, writing, moments. Let's look at this one. Yeah, and meeting people, seeing their humanity. You get good when you do lots of this, lots of practice. You get fast. I'm not saying good in this, I mean technical, but economical and fast. Just try and get across an idea. There's a lot of ideas in just this little drawing. It's not the best drawing. The only treasure I've found was here in my heart. As an archaeologist preserving the ancient sites in Iraq. This is Marsh Arab reed hut. Brings it to today, and I'm still doing this study. I'm still keeping that method going of writing, thinking, looking at themes. This is Siam Reap. It's Cambodia. These ancient sites here. Beautiful. And there's a similarity between this and this, because around here was the first environmental destruction, and here as well, man-made environmental destruction in Cambodia, the ancient Khmer civilization and the ancient Sumer civilization in Iraq. You kind of see how this is the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staffs of the American military, Martin Dempsey, a very important man in charge of the biggest army in the world. I'm drawing there with all the military, just as an observer. Let's just go back to, where is it? I mean, I look at these again and it brings back memories. And I haven't seen these for a while. I've just unwrapped these books for you guys, and it brings back memories instantly. This is a memory trigger. This is a journey on Highway 1 from Baghdad to Ur to Kampada, where the ziggurat, the pyramid in the desert, was. And there was a roadside bomb during that journey, not on our vehicle, but just a couple of vehicles ahead. We didn't see anything because it was ahead, long convoy. That definitely is telling. It's not the best drawing, but it's got meaning and provenance to me. Here we go. This is the ziggurat of Ur here, this temple in the desert, the birthplace of Abraham. And you have no man's land here between Kampada, where the US forces were based, and outside where insurgents were, where this temple, this huge pyramid was. And then you've got a tree and you've got kingfishers just flying here. And then you've got shells, and it's a long way away from the sea. So these shells showed that it was a different type of environment before. In fact, the whole area was very lush and rich, and mankind, the ancient Sumer people, over farmed it, and it just, the soil just turned to desert and the civilization collapsed. And the same as the Khmer civilization, the water, irrigation, it all messed up. And the man has a pattern of destroying his environment, and you can see it within the evidence by looking, by drawing, by being there. I'll show you another important drawing, which, if I can find it, not the best drawing. Yeah, this one here. This is not a great drawing, but I was locked in the jail cell that Saddam Hussein was kept in, and I drew there. And I had a film crew with me. I talked about what it felt like. But he spent 4 years in that jail cell. I look at this drawing, and I by being there, I felt, felt many things. I could talk about it for a long time. But what people do, these hands, Saddam Hussein's old hands that became the swords of victory in Baghdad. But then there's a little bit of hope here. New flowers happening. Fast, quick drawing on site. Anyway, I hope that gives you an idea of what I do. Best of luck, everyone.